Welcome to our channel Kalmadi Junior. In this last video of chapter 4 Chemical Thermodynamics, we shall study second law of thermodynamics, Gibbs free energy and equilibrium constant. In the previous video, we have seen the definition of entropy as it is the measure of molecular disorder or randomness of a system. Now let us see the quantitative definition of entropy. The entropy change of a system in a process is equal to the amount of heat transferred to it in a reversible manner divided by the temperature at which the transfer takes place. Thus, delta S is equal to SF minus SI, which is equal to integral of dq reversible by T. Therefore, delta S is equal to Q reversible upon T. When heat is added to a system, the molecular motions increase owing to increase of their kinetic energies. This results in increased molecular disorder and thus entropy of the system is directly proportional to Q reversible. Also, if a certain amount of heat is added to a system at a higher temperature, then the disorder caused is less than that caused by adding the same amount of heat at lower temperature. Thus, delta S is inversely proportional to temperature. Further, delta S is expressed in joules per Kelvin. Also note that entropy or delta S is a state function. That is, it depends on the initial and final states of the system and not on the path connecting the two states. Let us see the relation between entropy and spontaneity. Looking at the following example. When ice melts above 0 degrees Celsius and water vaporizes at 100 degrees Celsius, the entropy increases. Both are spontaneous process. Decomposition of hydrogen peroxide at room temperature. Twice H2O2 gives twice H2O plus O2 gas. Delta S is equal to plus 126 joules per Kelvin. Entropy increases due to formation of O2 gas. A careful study of the above spontaneous process reveals the following facts. The system is assumed to be isolated. Entropy of the final state is higher than that of initial state. Thus, S final is greater than S initial or delta S is greater than 0. We conclude that entropy of a system increases in a spontaneous process. However, the conclusion fails for non-isolated system. For example, consider formation of water molecule. Twice H2 plus O2 gives twice H2O. Delta S is equal to minus 327 joules per Kelvin. In the above reaction, the system is non-isolated. That is, it can exchange heat and energy as well as matter with the surroundings. Also, delta S is negative as number of moles of product is less than number of moles of reactant. But still, the above reaction is spontaneous. So, to overcome above discrepancies, the second law of thermodynamics was formulated. The second law of thermodynamics states that total entropy of a system and its surrounding increases in a spontaneous process. For the process to be spontaneous, delta S total is equal to delta S system plus delta S surrounding is greater than 0. That is, it's a positive value. In case of non-isolated system, as the system is in direct contact with surrounding, the entropy change in the system brings the change in entropy of the surrounding. Let us consider following example. Formation of water molecule. Twice H2 gas plus O2 gas gives twice H2O liquid. Delta S is equal to minus 327 joules per Kelvin and delta H is equal to minus 572 kilojoules, both at 298 Kelvin. To find delta S total, we need to know delta S surrounding. Delta H for the reaction is minus 572 kilojoule. When 2 moles of H2 and 1 mole of O2 gas combine to form 2 moles of liquid water, 527 kilojoule of heat is released which is received by the surroundings. at constant pressure and 298 Kelvin. The entropy change of surroundings is thus given as delta S surrounding is equal to Q reversible upon T, that is equal to delta H upon T, which is equal to 572 into 10 to the power 3 joules upon 298 Kelvin. 572 is a positive value here because heat lost by the reaction is minus and heat gained by the surrounding will be positive. The answer is 1919 joules per Kelvin. Hence, delta S total is equal to delta S system plus delta S surrounding. Substituting the values, you get minus 327 plus 1919, that is equal to plus 1592 joules per Kelvin. That is, delta S total is greater than 0. We can conclude that as delta S is positive, it is a spontaneous reaction. Hence, to decide the spontaneity of a reaction, we need to consider both entropy of a system and its surrounding. The total entropy increases during spontaneous process that finally reaches equilibrium. The equilibrium corresponds to maximum total entropy. Delta S total must become 0 for a process at equilibrium. From our discussion, we conclude that if delta S total is greater than 0, the process is spontaneous. If delta S total is less than 0, the process is non-spontaneous. And delta S total is equal to 0, the process is at equilibrium. Let us see a new factor, Gibbs energy. The limitation of entropy criteria for spontaneity is that to decide the spontaneity of a process, we need to consider both delta S system and delta S surrounding. However, we are more interested in the system, that is reaction mixture. So it is desirable to introduce some function which can be applied to system only, but it should take into account the entropy change of the surrounding also. An American theoretician, J.W. Gibbs, introduced a new thermodynamic function called Gibbs energy, denoted as capital G, which developed the criteria for spontaneity or feasibility of a process. The definition of Gibbs energy is, it is defined as the amount of energy available from a system at given set of conditions that can be put into useful work. Mathematically, G is defined as G is equal to H minus Ts. Here, since H, T and S are state functions, G is also a state function. At constant temperature T and constant pressure P, delta G, that is change in Gibbs energy, is given as delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S, where delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Delta G naught is standard Gibbs energy, which is defined as change in Gibbs energy when the reactants and products are in their standard states. Gibbs energy and spontaneity are related as follows. As we know, the total entropy change that accompanies a process is given by delta S total is equal to delta S system plus delta S surrounding. That is equal to delta S plus delta S surrounding. The subscript system is dropped. The relationship between delta G and delta S total can be obtained. For a spontaneous process, delta S total is greater than 0. If delta H is the enthalpy change for a reaction, the enthalpy change for the surrounding will be minus delta H. The magnitude will remain same. Therefore, delta S total is equal to delta H upon T and delta S surrounding is equal to minus delta H upon T. Substituting from equation 1 and 2, we get delta S total is equal to delta S minus delta H upon T. By rearranging the equation 3, we get T delta S total is equal to T delta S minus delta H. Again, multiplying the whole equation by minus sign, we get minus T delta S total is equal to delta H minus T delta S. As we know that delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. As the right hand side of equation 4 and 5 are equal, left hand side can be equated and we get delta G is equal to minus T delta S total. For a spontaneous reaction, delta S total is greater than 0 and hence delta G will be less than 0 as indicated in equation 6. At constant temperature and pressure, Gibbs energy of the system decreases in spontaneous process. The relationship between enthalpy, entropy and Gibbs energy can be given by the following table. By substituting the values in the equation, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. If delta H is positive, delta S is negative, then the product minus T delta S is positive and delta G becomes positive. Then the reaction will be non-spontaneous. If delta H is negative, delta S is positive, then the product minus T delta S is negative, delta G will be negative and the reaction will be spontaneous. If enthalpy is negative, entropy is also negative, the product minus T delta S will be positive, delta G will be positive or negative. At low temperature, the reaction will be spontaneous and at high temperature, the reaction will be non-spontaneous. Similarly, if enthalpy is positive, entropy is also positive, the product minus T delta S will be negative and delta G will be positive or negative. Then, at low temperature, the reaction will be non-spontaneous and at high temperature, the reaction will be spontaneous. So, by substituting the values of delta H and delta S in the equation of Gibbs energy, we can predict whether the given reaction is spontaneous or non-spontaneous at the given temperature T. Further, we can also calculate the temperature of equilibrium. The change in Gibbs energy is given as delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. For equilibrium, delta G will be equal to 0. Hence, from the above equation we get delta H is equal to T delta S. Therefore, capital T will be equal to delta H upon delta S, where T will be temperature at which change over from spontaneous to non-spontaneous behavior occurs. Delta H and delta S are assumed to be independent of the temperature. So, if we know the enthalpy and entropy of a system, we can calculate the temperature at which the reaction will change from spontaneous to non-spontaneous behavior. Let us now see the Gibbs function and equilibrium constant capital K. The change in Gibbs energy for a chemical reaction is given by delta G is equal to delta G naught plus RT ln Q, where capital Q is equal to reaction quotient, which is analogous to equilibrium constant capital K and involves non-equilibrium concentration Q suffix C and partial pressure Q suffix P in case of gaseous reaction. When reaction reaches equilibrium, delta G will be equal to 0. Substituting, and QC and QP becomes KC and KP respectively. So, substituting in the above equation, we get delta G naught is equal to RT ln KC or delta G naught is equal to RT ln KP. Changing the log from base E to base 10, we get delta G naught is equal to 2.303 RT log to the base 10 of K suffix C, or delta G naught is equal to 2.303 RT log to the base 10 of K suffix P, where capital K suffix C is the equilibrium constant when the reaction is expressed in aqueous medium, while capital K suffix P is the equilibrium constant for the reaction when reactant and products are expressed in gaseous forms. Kc can also be given as the ratio of concentration of products raised to the proper power divided by concentration of reactants raised to the proper power. Further, Kp is given as the partial pressures of products raised to the proper powers divided by the partial pressures of reactants raised to the proper powers. This equation delta G naught can be utilized to find out the equilibrium constant for a reaction when the reaction is at equilibrium. I hope you have understood the chapter Chemical Thermodynamics very well. Thank you for watching the video and stay tuned for our next videos.